AI is here. It's probably not going anywhere. In case you're holding up, the foundational SEO is very important too. But it's important that we look beyond keywords and look at the person beyond the screen, the people that we are writing for, optimize for them, prioritize them, and make them the focal point. This is Ebere Cecilia Jonathan, and this is SEO in 2026.
Ebere, what's your number one SEO tip for 2026?
My number one SEO tip for 2026 is focusing on the user experience. This has always been my tip, by the way, but with the change in user search behavior and the whole AI, it is even more important to bring it up now.
So why is user experience even more important in the age of AI?
Yeah, so as before now, it has always been what is the keyword with the highest volume, because this shows what users are searching for. And then we try to write content for this keyword and track our ranking for this keyword. This is how SEO have operated in the past, and that made sense. But with AI, it's possible for you to rank for this keyword and then you aren't getting any conversion. You're possibly not even getting impressions, but you're ranking on the first page. Because we have AI overview, we have sources across the web, we have every day there's a new product coming from Google. And also because of how users are also searching. They are no longer searching only on Google, they also have something else they search with. So it makes sense that you're not just tracking keyword, but you're going beyond the keywords and thinking, what is this user actually looking for? So we call it search intent, but solving real need of what users are actually looking for and intuitively taking care of this in your content or your optimization.
So going back to the point you made about ranking for keywords with volume but not getting any traffic, why is that? Are you talking about the fact that links or SERP results on Google tends to be maybe below an AI overview and people aren't scrolling down to actually look at the conventional links nowadays?
Yes, most of those high volume keywords are also informational. So people are looking for best hotel in London. They search for best hotel in London and they get it from Google. They are not going to come down to look at your content where you listed the best hotel and why they should choose it. People are searching for information and they have AI overview wrapped it up for them and give it to them as a flash. And because of also the low attention span that people have, and it's also increasing. So people are looking for TLDR. Just tell me in summary, what's it about? And the AI overview and all of those are giving it to them as a flash. So they are no longer scrolling down. So you could be ranking number 3 or number 4, but no one is coming down there to click on your content.
So what kinds of keyword phrases are good to be targeting nowadays? Or do you just not target keyword phrases? Do you just think about users and just write for them?
Well, that's a good question. So keywords are still important because it kind of gives you a clue or a window into what humans are searching, what people are searching for. But targeting for those specific high volume keywords that AI has already been trained for, it's gonna be a myth. So when I'm creating content for a client, I don't look at keywords. I do keyword research to look at the problem, the issues that the users are interested in, and I create content that serve that. With that, it's possible for Google, for AI, for chatbots to cite you because this is a new information. It's not just keyword. It's an information that they don't already have, and they are happy to cite it. Take, for instance, the hotel we mentioned. If I'm just targeting best hotels in London, there is a high possibility that I'm not going to get clicked on. High possibility. But if I am going a bit further to write for hotel for families with kids below this age, that's no longer a specific keyword. That is solving specific problem for a particular audience. Families going to London with two kids, they have specific things that they are interested in. So when I'm doing keyword research, I am doing it in terms of audience research or audience intent. What are this specific audience interested in solving? And then you write those keywords. That is the age that we are in right now. I like to borrow inspiration from people that do social media. They don't target specific keywords on their socials. They look at the products, they look at the brands, and they look for problems that the users are interested in, and they write posts around this. Not just going on keyword tools, pulling out keyword and writing content on those.
So if you're doing that, if you're using social media as inspiration and you're perhaps brainstorming ideas and coming up with phraseology that you think are going to represent your customers' problems, how do you know that you're not missing out on opportunities? Because if you do conventional keyword research, you can map out associated keywords and try to cover everything. But if you're taking inspiration from social media platforms, then surely that means that you might potentially be missing out on massive opportunities.
Well, that could be right. So before now, we do keyword clusters, right? So we ensure we are not missing out on anything. So we structure our keyword and try to gain topical authority over those keywords. So right now, I try to do audience clusters where I look at Majestic and look at who are the audience that are using Majestic, and then try to do a kind of keyword for this specific audience. What are the things that they are interested in solving? And we write content based on what this audience are interested in solving. And so when you are looking at the structure of this content, it's not the same thing with when you are just writing content for keywords. So we look at, okay, images will work here, videos will work here, infographics will work here, as against just doing, okay, H1, H2, we've covered the content, we move to the next content. Based on the audience, we know what should work on this page.
Okay, audience clustering. I like that phrase there. I look for phrases that could go on T-shirts, and I think audience clustering could go in a T-shirt. So I like that.
Yeah, thank you for that idea.
How do you go about clustering your audience? Are there online tools that you can use, or do you just have to maybe have some kind of focus group with potential customers and maybe talk to other people within the business to really brainstorm what that audience might be interested in, or can you use some tool, as I mentioned, to do this?
Yeah, you can also use keywords to do this research. Look at the questions this specific audience are searching for. But community does that. Community focus groups, you look at the questions people are asking in this community. Reddit is a popular one, Quora. They also have close community like the Women in Tech SEO. So you see people coming back to ask repeated questions. So you know these specific people are interested in getting answers for this. So those are how I do my keyword or audience audience research clustering. Write out the audience that we are serving. Then come up with questions that they are interested in tackling. So how do we come up with those questions? We still use keyword tools like SEMrush and the rest to look at questions that are being asked concerning this kind of service or product. Then communities, social listening. So I can create an email just for the sake of, listening to the audience. I create an email that is going to be Say, for instance, hotel. So I create an email that targets this and see what Google is showing, see what TikTok is showing me, see what Instagram algorithm is showing me, and see the questions that people are also asking on the comment section. It's a whole lot of work doing audience research as against doing keyword research, but it is worth it.
Great. Okay. So you've researched your audience and you start brainstorming and coming up with ideas from online communities, other websites that are discussing those kind of problems. And then you come up with a big database of maybe hundreds of potential questions that you could be writing about. How do you prioritize what needs to be written about first?
Well, so for now, what we do is to map it quarterly. So this is how many content we're going to write this quarter. So we don't prioritize it based on number of volumes, but based on where they are, where the business is right now, and what we want to do this quarter, and then next quarter, and then like that.
Got you. Okay, so it's a quarterly plan. So that's a nice length of time to be focusing on something, and then reviewing how you're performing. I guess on the newer AI search engines as well as more conventional search as well. And a quarter is a nice length of time because you're not actually committing to do something for too long because technology changes and the platforms that people use change over time as well.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, so that's coming up with the content and the plan. How do you decide on the type of content to publish? Because if you have to write content that answers a specific question, you could write thousands of words. You could write, a couple of short paragraphs. You could produce a video. How do you know the type of content that is most likely to be the right type of content to produce?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So as I said, it depends on the problem and the intent. So for instance, I like to use this hotel a lot. So I visited Netherlands for Amsterdam for a conference. I don't speak Dutch and I've never been there before. So that's my first time being there. But I know that they have the hotel I booked have the hotel pick up and drop off option. But I do not know how to go about it. I can't call and I can't also email. So I went online and I searched this long tail query how to get to this hotel where they are pick up, like something like that. And I saw their website. On the website, there is a video that walked me through the tarmac straight to where the bus is parked. And then there are pictures of the buses. And there is a table that have their time, the pickup time, and the drop-off time. This is a well thought out marketing plan. It is not just keyword, it's thinking about the user. What is this user who is typing, who is searching for these things interested in? This person is surely does not or have never been here, so it does not have an idea. That's why you are searching for this. So they did a video to walk me. You don't even need to know the language. You can actually see the person walking from where you are standing to where the buses are parked. I don't need to read anything because that will confuse me the more. Putting the user's experience at the forefront and try to imagine yourself being the user will help you know how to structure your content. Something else I try to do is the mom test. So assume that your mom is going to come on that page. How will you make it easiest for your mom? What will be the easiest way for your mom to consume that content and achieve your goal on that page? So that is what helped me know how to structure my content for each audience.
So by saying make it as easy as possible for your mom, does that simply mean make it as simple and easy to understand as quickly as possible so that the user doesn't get lost in what you're trying to say?
Exactly. So when a user lands on this page, what do you want them to do? And make it easy for them to easily grasp what you want them to do. Shout out to Jade Porret. I think she was on Majestic this week. So she made a post where she was chatting with AI on TLDR and its use on AI, how it's beneficial. So it said that AI uses it, but human too finds it very useful, because when I come to your page, I may also want to see key takeaways. So if you are putting the users in forefront, if you are putting the users first, you are thinking, what does this user want? So if it's a very long content, you want to put a small box that have key takeaways or summary or overview that highlights everything, summarizes everything on that page, and make it easy for the person to read. So it's the same thing. Imagine your mom is going to come there and you have a technical jargons well written there. Make it easy for your mom.
And how do you decide upon the most likely intent for a question?
So deciding the intent for a question. So when you're structuring the audience research, I'm already thinking about the intent for each question. Is their intent to buy? Is their intent to find their way? Is their intent information? They just want to know about the. So if their intent is information, make the information simple for them to grasp. If their information if their intent is to buy, show them the product and make it easy for them to understand the benefit of the product and make it easy for them to buy.
Ebere, what's the key takeaway from the tip you shared today?
My key takeaway is AI is here. It's probably not going anywhere. In case you're holding up, the foundational SEO is very important too. But it's important that we look beyond keywords and look at the person beyond the screen, the people that we are writing for, optimize for them, prioritize them, and make them the focal point.
Ebere Cecilia Jonathan is an SEO strategist. Find out more over on LinkedIn. Ebere, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2026.
Thank you, David, for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
I've been your host, David Bain. Get your copy of SEO in 2026, the book, over at SEOin2026.com.